Hello from Halifax. This is Jo with Jo to the World Creations, and today we're going to learn how to make a slip knot in crochet. There are many different ways to make a slip knot in crochet, and everyone does it just a little bit differently. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 ways to make a slip knot, and then you can decide which way works best for you. As you learn how to make a slip knot, it's important to note the 2 parts of the strand. There's the tail, which is the end of the strand, the part that's cut off. So this is called the tail. And the other part is the working end of the strand. And that's the part that's attached to the skein or the ball of yarn. The first method we're going to learn is what I call loop-de-loop. With my skein on my left-hand side, we're going to take our strand and make a loop with the tail on top of the working end of yarn. We're going to turn our right hand into a shark with a special trick. This shark can go forwards and backwards through a hula hoop. So we're going to lift up this loop, which we're going to pretend is a hula hoop, and our shark is going to come from back to front and take a big bite of the working end of yarn. I'm not going to let go. It's going to go backwards through the hula hoop, and then we are going to take the tail and the working end in our left hand and pull them both in this loop until a knot is formed. Now what we want to do is insert our crochet hook from back to front and adjust this loop by pulling on the working end of yarn. Now what we want to do is make sure that this tail is approximately 8 inches long. This ensures that there's enough yarn to weave in our loose ends. And you can see our slip knot is now securely on our hook. Let's do this one more time. We're going to take our strand and make a loop. With our shark in one hand and our hula hoop in the other, our shark's going to come from the back to the front and take a big bite of the working yarn and pull it back through the hula hoop. We can drop the hula hoop and pick up the ends in our left hand, and now we are going to pull both the ends and the loop tight to form that slip knot. Now we can take our crochet hook and insert it from back to front. Hold the tail with your right hand, and then with your left hand, pull the working end so that the slip knot is securely on your hook. As you practice making a slip knot, you'll learn that you don't actually have to place it down. You can just be holding it and make your loop. Bring your fingers through the loop and pick up the working end and pull it through the loop. And then we insert our crochet hook from back to front and then pull on the working end to secure it to the hook. Now we don't want the knot to be too tight. We want it to be able to be loose enough that it can move around on the hook. The next method we're going to learn is what I call loop over finger. For this next method, I am putting a strand of yarn over my index finger with a tail that is approximately 8 inches, and that's away from me. Now I'm going to take that tail and I'm going to cross it in front of the working end of yarn. I've made a bit of an X there. Now I'm holding that tail with my thumb. Now I'm going to take the working end of yarn and wrap it around my finger closer to my nail. And now I can hold that piece with my thumb as well. Now I'm going to take the loop that's closest to my knuckle and pull it off my finger. it's going to go above the loop that's closest to my nail, and it's going to get pulled right off my finger. So I'm lifting it up and pulling it off my finger, but leaving the loop that was closest to my nail intact. Now, using my working end of yarn, I'm pulling it to secure the slip knot. Now, with my crochet hook, I'm going to put the loop on the hook, but I am going to change it so that the tail is at the back of the hook. So I'm just rotating it around. So now the tail is on the right-hand side, and I'm inserting my hook into the loop, and I'm going to hold the tail while pulling the working end so that I secure my slip knot to my hook. Let's try this one more time. I put my tail over my index finger, leaving an 8-inch tail. I bring the tail forward and cross it over the working end of yarn, making an X. Now I take the working yarn and wrap it around my index finger, and then I hold it with my thumb. I take the loop that's closest to my knuckle and lift it over the loop that's closest to my nail. Now I take my crochet hook and I'm just going to rotate the knot around so that the end is on the right hand side. And at that point, I'm going to insert my hook into the loop, hold the tail with my right hand, and then with my left hand, pull the working end to secure the slip knot. The next method we're going to learn is what I call around the clock. For this next method, we are going to have our crochet hook in our right hand, and we're going to put the strand of yarn over our hook with the tail away from us. And I want you to leave an approximate 8-inch tail that's away from us. Now with our yarn on our hook, we're going to take our left hand and pinch the two ends approximately 2 inches from the hook. Now, if you can picture looking at a clock right now, that's what we're going to do with this hook. We are going to start by pointing to what will be 12 o'clock straight in front of us, and we're going to go around the clock until we get to the 9 o'clock mark. So I'm going to point at the 12 o'clock, and now I'm going to go to 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. And what that has done is it's made an X just below the hook. If you have troubles with the clock analogy, you can also just go scooping around and up. But you want to make sure that an X is created so that the tail comes in front of the working end. Now, once this X is made, I'm going to pinch it with my right hand while still holding my hook. So I'm still holding my hook and I'm pinching the X. Now I'm going to get my yarn ready in my left hand to crochet as I normally would. So I hold my yarn by first wrapping the yarn around my ring finger and then putting my index finger underneath the yarn. Now I'm going to switch which hands are pinching this X. So I'm switching hands. Now my left hand is pinching the X. And I'm ready to start crocheting. So now I can yarn over and pull the loop or pull the yarn through my loop on my hook. Now I tighten it and I have a slip knot. What's really handy about this is that you can now start crocheting right away. Let's try this again. I put my strand of yarn on my hook and I pinch the two ends about 2 inches away from the hook. Now I'm going to draw a clock starting at 12, looping all the way till the 9, and now I see an X made just below the hook. At first I pinch it with my right hand while I get all set up. Then I switch hands, I yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop, and then tighten. And the last method we're going to learn is what I call the back of two fingers. For this next method, we are going to stick our index and our middle finger out. We are going to take the strand of yarn and put it over our two fingers with the short end, the tail, in front of us, and the tail length should be approximately 8 inches. So the tail is in front of our fingers and the working end is behind our fingers. We're going to take that working yarn and bring it underneath our fingers, and we're going to create an X. So it overlaps the tail and it makes an X. I'm just going to hold the ends down here. Now, if you flip your fingers towards you, you can see you have two strands. This is the strand that's closest to your nails. This is your strand that's closest to your knuckles. With your crochet hook, you're going to put the hook under the first strand and then hook the second strand and pull it out. Take the yarn off your fingers and pull tight. Now hold the tail and pull the working yarn to secure that onto your hook. Let's do this one more time. I have my index and middle finger pointed out, an 8-inch strand of tail that is towards me. I take the working end and I bring it underneath my fingers and up to create an X, and all the way around so that I can hold both ends between my thumb and my ring finger. I rotate my fingers and I'm going to put my hook under the first strand and then I'm going to hook the second strand and I'm going to pull it under the first strand. And I really wish there was an easy way to describe what you do here other than just pull up the loop and remove everything from your fingers. It works. And now we're going to pull the ends to secure the knot, and then to secure it onto our hook, we hold the tail and then we pull the working end. And there you have 4 ways to make a slip knot for crochet.